Hello and welcome. We're very excited to be here today for day 3 of the Angel and Energy Telesummit Tour. The tour that's a passport to healing your body, financial flow, and relationships. It is lovingly dedicated to Archangel Raphael, the Master Healer, and God's physician to help us all heal. My name is Cecily MacArthur, and unfortunately, my co-host today, Lori Raymond, will not be able to be with us. She's got a personal emergency, and she regrets that. She sends her love and would have wanted to be here if it was possible. So I'm flying solo today, and we'll walk us through the tour with our great guests. So we are both thrilled to have you join us, though, from all around the world, because this is so important to us to be able to have these divine conversations and help people to open up to angels and to energy and to healing in their lives. So let's just start with a few of our little housekeeping rules here so people understand what's going on. So we're going to try to keep our interview to an hour, but we know that the angels are in charge, and we have a tendency to run over a bit. So manage your time. And there will be time for questions at the end. That's what tends to run us over, because we have quite a lot of people wanting to ask. But also remember, when you ask questions, other people are learning from the questions that you're asking and the answers that they receive. So it's all always helpful and deepening the learning process for everyone. So we're also to let you know the replay from the interview will be available immediately after the call on the same link that you're on if you're on the webcast. If you're on the phone, you should have gotten the webcast link also. And if you want to listen to it again, it's available for 24 hours. And I have said I'm kind of cheating a little. It's gone a little longer than 24 hours, but I take them down. So they're pretty much down by 10 o'clock. Eastern Standard Time, so in the evening, the following evening. So you got a little extra time to sneak it in there if you just want to listen to it one more time. And of course, we also encourage everyone, we still have available to purchase the very important Angel Upgrade Package, where you can get all 11 interview hours and some amazing bonus gifts valued over $300. For a very small price of $444.40. So that's our angelic number of 444. Angels surrounding us. We love that price. Okay, so just want to talk a little bit about why we put this together so that you understand, if you're a fan, if you were from our first Angel Telesummit, then you would have experienced this back in May when we put this together. We dedicated that one to Archangel Michael, and it was a wild success, and it was on an inspiration from my co-host Lori. She got a message to create an Angel Telesummit, and we knew right away we were going to do a second one, because we both are very committed to empower people throughout the world to be able to get in touch with angelic guidance, and for this one in particular with Archangel Raphael, so that people can get tools and strategies and mindset to help you to help heal your life and awaken to spirit. So I'm going to spend a lot of time introducing myself. If people don't know me now, it's Cecily MacArthur, Dream Life Coach, and there's stuff about us on the website, so you can read that too. So what I would want to do is move right into introducing our amazing guest today. And our guest is Sunny Dawn Johnston, and she is a powerhouse of amazing accomplishments here, so hang on to your hat. She's an inspirational speaker, a compassionate spiritual teacher, an internationally acclaimed psychic medium, and an author of the soon-to-be-released book, Invoking the Angels, the 9-step process to heal your body, mind, and soul. She's going to talk about that book today with us, because it's end of October. It's coming out. It's right after here, so we'll talk about it. So Sunny has joined best-selling authors Wayne Dyer, Dr. Andrew Weil, Doreen Virtue, Greg Braden, Sonia Coquette, and many others as presenter in many conferences over the past 6 years, and she has also been featured on numerous local and national television and radio shows, including Coast to Coast with George Noory. In 2003, Sunny founded the Sunlight Alliance, LLC, a spiritual teaching and healing center in Glendale, Arizona. This was fascinating to me. She also volunteers her time as a psychic investigator for an international organization called Find Me. And this is a nonprofit organization of psychics, investigative, and canine research and rescue volunteers who work together to provide leads to law enforcement and families of missing persons and homicide victims. That's fascinating. So Sunny lives in the sunshine of Arizona desert with her husband, Brett, her sons, Crew, in Arizona, and their 2 dogs, Pele and Zena. All right. Well, and Sunny is going to talk to us today about invoking the archangels to heal your body, mind, and soul. So, Sunny, welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, we're thrilled to have you here, too. It's just we have such a variety of people, and when we saw particularly that was your book coming out, it was like, well, here's a natural. We have to invite her, and we were thrilled that you said yes to join us because your topic is certainly what we're all about here on the Angel Summit and from your point of view. So can you start by telling us a little bit about how you started working with angels? And I know you have a story about some hard times you started with. Can you just bring us up to people that are familiar with what your story's been?
Sure. I started, my first angelic experience was when I was 13 years old, and I had, gone to bed at night. My mother had came in and prayed for me because she was concerned about my emotional state and wasn't sure, how I was doing, and I didn't know that, but I woke up in the middle of the night and went to roll over, and I just saw this beautiful angelic being literally just above my bed, like lengthwise above my bed, and I noticed her and I acknowledged her, and then I just rolled over and went back to sleep as if it was like an ordinary thing to happen every day. And when I woke up the next morning, and I told my mom, and I knew at that point that it was my guardian angel. And so, at that point I'd already began having other experiences. We had a ghost that lived in our house, and so I would feel and see and sometimes hear that ghost kind of moving around or getting messages or things like that. So that was kind of normal in my household, which isn't necessarily normal in everybody's household, and it was safe to talk about it in my household. Unfortunately, the challenge was I was also raised in Salt Lake City, Utah. So the safety really in talking about those types of things was in my house. My mother was metaphysical, so it was fine to share it there. But what I learned at a young age was not everybody believed you could communicate with the angelic realm or see ghosts or anything like that. So from that point forward, although I explored it and delved into it different times, I also shut it down.
So it wasn't reinforced for you.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was at home, but it was just unsafe to be able to share it outside of my home because people thought it was weird or they didn't believe it or, oh, my gosh, you've got a ghost, we got to stay away. So it just became something that was it wasn't normal, and so because it wasn't normal and I was at such a crucial age, 13, 14 years old, and I wanted to just fit in and began realizing that not very many parts of me fit in,
I think that happens to a lot of people who are sensitive as children in particular, and then lose their gifts or bury their gifts because they're embarrassed or they weren't supported. At least you did have the support in your home, which is more than a lot of kids do. But that was great. But as a teenager, sure, you didn't want to be different.
Right, absolutely. And I do think most of us that are really sensitive kids, not always do the people around us, whether it's in home or in school or in our churches, understand what that sensitivity is and how it can manifest in so many different forms. And so, yes, I was blessed to have a mother who was embracing and accepting and sharing, and at the same time I had my own challenges and issues. So for many years after that, I had many experiences with the angelic realm on and off, and I'd shut it off and turn it on, shut it off and turn it on, and it was kind of like, this push-pull kind of feeling I had about, my own intuitive nature and my spirituality and my connection, and then, stepping into the real world for a little while, so to speak, and then, coming back into my spirit and then stepping into the physical, and it didn't feel like I could do both. And I think that is how a lot of people experience life still to this day as adults. It's, I'm doing this, and then I go into the real world. And that's I hear that language a lot, even with my clients. And it's like we got to bring who we are into the life we're living and not have them be separate. But yet a lot of times there is that separation. We don't feel like we can really be who we are in corporate America or in our, lives or the schools or things like that. And we really got to own those gifts and be able to share them.
I had a similar experience with not having that aspect of myself appreciated in corporate America, and actually made me physically ill when I had to leave. So I think it happens to a lot of people. And the people, particularly now, where the gifts are being shown to people, and they're realizing that they have to be true to their purpose here and to change their life. So tell us more what you did as you grew up and how you developed all of these amazing accomplishments that you've done.
Well, I really tried to ignore it for a long time, and in my ignoring it, I manifested and created a lot of challenge in my life. So, by the time I was 18, I was pregnant and living in a relationship with an alcoholic, and living in a dump, a shack with no running water and no heat and air conditioning. Most of the time, no running water. Once in a while, our toilet worked, and ended up, finding myself pregnant with my son. On welfare and food stamps, working still 3 jobs, but I was the only one that was working. And, I realized that what happened during that time was that I didn't, even though I believed in the angelic realm, and even though I had seen and felt and witnessed, experienced that loving energy, I did not feel like I deserved it. And so my challenge and my struggle was, I knew that, step number 1, ask for help. I knew that I could just, ask my angels to be around me and to support me and guide me, but I didn't even feel worthy of that at the time because I'd made so many of what I perceived to be mistakes at such, at a young age. And so I pushed against it, and I ignored it. And it wasn't really until, we were talking about this being dedicated to Archangel Raphael, and it wasn't until I had my son. So during my pregnancy, I developed toxemia, preeclampsia, which turned into eclampsia. When I finally had my son, I had a stroke while I was in labor, and so I had an emergency C-section. And shortly thereafter, I had a horrible infection. So I had 106 temperature for nearly 3 weeks. And
oh my!
The doctors came in one day and said, you know what, you need to sign your rights away to your son. We don't think that you're going to live. And up until that point, I kind of was on the fence about, well, I don't really care if I live or not, so it doesn't really matter, until the choice was being made for me. And, I'm an Aries, and I'm a little bit fiery, and so when somebody told me this was the way it was going to be, that's when I decided, wait a minute, maybe I do want to live. I wanted to see my son. I hadn't gotten to see him since he was 3 days old, and I'd been in the hospital for 3 weeks. So that day was the first day during my entire pregnancy and afterwards that I realized, I need to ask for help. So I called on Archangel Raphael. I surrounded myself in that green healing energy. I visualized myself being healed. I called every person that I knew, regardless of their beliefs, religions, or otherwise, and asked everyone to pray for me that particular night. It was a Saturday night. And Sunday was the first day that my fever broke after almost 3 weeks of 106 temperature. And
wow.
I checked myself out of the hospital. So I think that the power of not only asking but then allowing yourself to receive is so, so important. A lot of people, we talk about asking for help. That's great, but you've got to be willing to receive it, too. And in many of my years and challenges in life, sometimes I would do one, but not the other. And I had to get into alignment where I could ask for it and then be open to the experience of feeling it, and then start to learn how to love myself enough to know that I deserved the help, the support, and feel that worthiness and that value, which has been a lifelong challenge for me. It's been a very difficult struggle, and probably up until 10 years ago, I couldn't tell you that I really felt that way. But certainly over the last 10 years, I can say that I really do unconditionally love myself, and the way I got there was through that love and that support and that unconditional energy of the angelic realm, of the spirit world.
And both of those points are really important, is that not only the asking but the allowing piece. And it's been alluded to already that is one of the toughest things for people to do, is to really get to that allowing and to really believe it and have faith in it and use it, but also developing that unconditional love. So that's a key, absolutely. And so many people don't love themselves and feel that way about themselves. So the angels can certainly help us with that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Not only can they help us, they can heal us, and then they can show us the way to be able to help others.
So talk more about the how you're using you started to use the angels then, and what around having them in your life, and then how you started to work with archangels in particular.
Okay. Well, so that Archangel Raphael story and really being able to come into a place of healing, because I was a very sick girl during that pregnancy and afterwards, and so working with Raphael's energy afterwards and allowing myself again to receive that help, and so then when I finally did get home and get healed and start feeling better physically, I had a whole new area that I had to look at, and that really was that. Now I had this new baby. I just turned 19 years old. I had this new baby. I'd never planned to have children. Was on welfare and food stamps. Was being a single mother. Although I was living with my boyfriend, he was a musician, so he wasn't ever around. And I realized that this child of mine was a mirror for me. And what happened over the next few years, all of the toxicity, my body literally had toxemia, but the reason that it had manifested toxemia during my pregnancy was because I was very toxic in my own thoughts and feelings. I was very angry. I was frustrated. I was sad. I was scared. I was, afraid of how I was going to handle everything. And so once my son, once I had my son and we kind of got a routine going, I recognized and I realized that, I had created this environment for him, this home for him, physical, when he was in utero, that was a toxic energy for him. And so what I witnessed then over the next 8 years or so, once he was born, was a very difficult child. He was sad, he was angry, he was frustrated, he was all the things that I felt. And my way of handling it was to take him to every holistic doctor, every type of therapy that there was, trying to find something that would help him to be able to fix him. He was diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity, ODD, bipolar tendencies, you name it, all kinds of things. And so we tried, rebirthing and cranial.
And thank you so much for the discount. I will put the code in the email for tomorrow, so people will have that and can order your book if they'd like. So that is wonderful. Thank you so much for that. And a lot going on, and congratulations. It really is on this book going forward. It's I'm sure amazing, and I'm going to sign up for one too. All right. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just say thank you. It's my honor to be able to be out there and to share. So I'm very grateful and appreciative.
All right. Well, great. So let's give people a chance to ask you questions. So if people know the routine, if people are on the phone, you just push *2 on your phone, and that will raise your hand, and then I will identify you by the last 4 digits of your phone number, and we'll unmute you. You can tell your name and your question for Sunny. If you're on the webcast, you can write down in the little box there if you have a question for Sunny, and I'll try to take some from both places before we finish here tonight. So please write. I've got some questions already. So let's see. Oh, we've got the hands up. All right. So I just want to Yeah, all right. So before I unmute anyone, I just want to remind people to be respectful, that there's a line and people want to get through. So keep it brief and to the point, and we will appreciate moving through as many as we can. So I'm going to start with the person who raised her hand first, and I don't know who this is. All right. So the last 4 digits is 6952. Hello, Melanie.
Aloha. Thank you for remembering me. That's so incredibly sweet. I wanted to ask, because I am having that similar experience of being in, first of all, understanding now that I couldn't see the angels because I didn't feel I deserved to. I used to see them and had an experience, and I'm in a place of extreme unforgiveness and self-judgment, not of other people, but of myself. And I'm having trouble, and I'm also an extreme empath, and definitely taking on everybody's energy without even consciously realizing I'm doing so. So if there's any insights you could offer there, I'd be so grateful.
Oh, I've got all kinds of insights for you. Yes, that's how I am. That's how I was. That's how I am. The difference is it doesn't affect me in a negative way now because I've learned how to maintain my own energy. So for me, and I'm going to do at the end, they said that I could take a couple of minutes and do a little meditation or prayer. So I'm going to end with a meditation that I use every day to protect my own energy. So you will do that, Melanie. But what I would suggest is you need to get consistent with your meditation practice and your protection of your own energy. It has to be daily, if not more than once daily, for you to build up a belief or a trust that you are safe in feeling other people's energies. So, you take it on and you don't know it, and then it causes you pain. I think it even causes you physical illness at times. And you need to learn how to be able to separate yourself, observe it from a distance, and not absorb it as you have. So invoking Archangel Michael, ask him to surround you and protect you. Visualizing a blue energy around you is one way. Using hematite or selenite crystals, saging, clearing that way. Aura cleanser is a tool that I use a lot of. I love that stuff. So there's lots of ways to do it. You have to find the way that works for you. For me, it's working with Archangel Michael, and it has been since I was 13 and when I've allowed myself to do it. But more importantly, well, not more importantly, equally as important for you in protecting your energy, that needs to be done daily before you get out of bed, is you need some forgiveness work. You have a low vibrational energy around your own thoughts of you, and that is creating cycles in you that just keep continuing. You're very, very critical of yourself. So I'd call in Archangel Zadkiel if the book feels in alignment for you, if it feels like something would be of support for you. There's probably a lot of it just feels like a lot of what you've walked, I've walked. So it might be helpful for you to see it from a different perspective and learn tools to be able to support you in it. So hopefully that'll help you for now. At the end, when we do the Michael meditation, please do it with us, because that will give you at least a taste of what to do. And in my book, I have several different meditations and invocations that I use with each one of the archangels.
Excellent. Thank you so much, honey. I really appreciate it. And thanks for sharing your story, because I really did relate to it so profoundly. Thank you all.
You bet. You bet.
Great. Thanks,
Namaste.
Melanie.
Blessings.
Okay. So the next caller is, last 4 digits is 4498. Hello, you're on the air, and what's your name and what's your question for Sunny?
Hi, my name is Brenda, and thank you so much. That was wonderful. I have been interacting with the angels, and I also, about 3 years ago, got the feeling of self-love, and it was from the angels, I know. What I wanted to know is how to keep that stronger when I, too, am like the last person, incredibly empathic and absorb all these other people's energies. And I also live in an extremely conservative religious area, and so I don't have people that I can share with on what I really believe. And so if you have any suggestions about that, I'm not sure if I need to move away from here around more people that I can share all this stuff with. I grew up in LA, so I had it there. But
well, I would suggest starting with let's start with maintaining the energy where you are, because the moving right now would be a fear base. We don't want to move out of fear base. Okay, well, I don't fit in here, so I need to go here. We want to move because it's the time to move, and it feels right for you. And I'm not saying I'm against that. I'm just saying let's start to use some of these tools to get you into place of, again, same thing I said with the last lady, maintaining your energy, protecting your energy. You have to get consistent with it. That will bring back that feeling of unconditional love. When you have 20 different, 30 different, 50 different people's energies, and you've absorbed all that energy, you can't tap back into that feeling because you have to move through the muck and the mire, so to speak. So right now, number one, start doing that. Start getting consistent, doing prayer protection, a visualization, intention, and invocation around maintaining and protecting your energy. The other thing is you need to create a support group. Now, that support group might not be in your local area, but there are so many of them available online. That's one of the reasons I started doing online classes, was to be able to reach people in, Minot, North Dakota, and, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, different places that maybe they don't have a community that is as open to this. I grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah, so I get it. And so it's important to have that connection. So whether it's an online community where, or these kinds of things where you can connect with some people, but then developing the relationships with them until you have a clear enough energy to make a choice about moving or not moving. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you so much for reminding me about the fear-based. Don't be in fear.
You're
very, very welcome, hon. Very welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Brenda. All right. We have another caller. Last four digits is 8905. Hello, what's your name and what's your question for Sunny?
Hi, my name is Fatima. Thanks so much for taking my call. Sunny, I just wanted to, you answered my question basically about the protection part, but do you recommend that it's highly as important to release on a daily basis also all the energies that are like the lower base, fear-based, all that energy around you?
Absolutely. So that is part of the protective energy is to release any negative energies. So release any negative energies or entities, seen or unseen.
Right.
Protect myself from any of those energies. So typically, if you are doing a practice, a consistent practice of maintaining your energy, the process of that is the intention to maintain, which is automatic in releasing anything that does not serve you any longer, does not serve you in this moment. And you can release in a lot of ways. So, you could go outside, you can get grounded, you feel like an earth energy, so making sure you get some sunshine and some outdoor connection that will help kind of ground you and get you centered a little bit more than maybe being indoors. And then, yes, doing that. And the thing I want to make sure everybody's getting is consistency. I've tried it, and you know what? If there was a back door, if there was a way to do it, every 3 days, I would know it. It does not work.
Right, you have to do the work, in other words. Great. Also,
exactly.
Can we ask the archangels to work with us in our dreams while we sleep as well?
Absolutely, yes. And there's all kinds of invocations in my book that you can do before you go to bed to call them in, and then the intention is to allow them to, whether it's healing work, forgiveness work, creativity, different things.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, my dear. Very welcome.
God
Thank
bless
you.
you all. Thanks. Bye.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Fatima. All right. I'm going to go to the webcast now, and we have a couple of questions just for you. It's a lot of people loving this, and a lot of people excited about the book. But someone wants to know: are you going to North Carolina on your tour?
I actually am. I'm going to be in Raleigh, North Carolina, at a bookstore there. I'm sorry, but I don't know the name of it. And then I'm actually doing a private one, a living room one, in somebody's home in Raleigh as well. And we'll be in South Carolina and Virginia and D.C. and a lot of them in Ohio and Chicago and Minnesota, Wisconsin, North Dakota, South Dakota, Idaho, Utah, lots of them in Arizona, a lot in Texas, California, some Washington State. So those are the ones in Florida. Those are the ones I know about right now. That doesn't mean others won't manifest, but like I say, we've got about 50 of them. I have a big map on my wall so I can keep track.
All right. There's another question here about someone who has didn't put their name in here. It's Love and Light in Whispering Pines, and she has a heart arrhythmia, and she was wondering about how to use Raphael to help to heal something like that. Give it any.
Using Raphael, invoking his energy, doing it on a consistent basis, a daily basis. What I would suggest is visualizing that color green coming into the body. So first, I would scan my body and I would look for any areas that feel out of balance. If there's a heart arrhythmia, to me, that's going to represent. And I'm not saying that this has to be right, but for me, on a metaphysical level, the heart arrhythmia is going to represent like blocking love, not allowing love to come in completely. Like sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. That's the first thing that comes to me. So maybe sometimes some rejection of it or giving up on it. So to me, I would be looking at the emotions first. What emotions am I manifesting, or what emotions are manifesting this particular illness, then asking Raphael to help with healing of that. So I would scan my body and look for any areas that might be dark energies, heavy energies, fear-based energies, negative beliefs, and things like that, anger, guilt, shame, and just a scan of your body and push that energy out through your feet. So visualize that as maybe black or brown or whatever. Push that out through your feet. Then envision that golden or that beautiful green emerald light, and imagine that coming in from the top of your head and filling any of those areas throughout your entire body that were being maybe held back or were holding some of that fear, and allowing that healing energy to move through your body. The other thing I would suggest is I would write a letter to my heart arrhythmia. Okay, what is it I need to learn? What am I not looking at? What do I need to do to bring you back into harmony? And it might sound funny. A lot of people think it sounds funny, but I always recommend writing to body issues. I'm teaching a body mentoring class right now, and that's one of the things that's very powerful is, you know what, your body knows, and let your body teach you and guide you. And it might sound silly, I'm writing to my sore ankle, but your ankle will talk to you if you'll let it.
Excellent. It is important for people to think about what is the message that you're getting, that there's something that needs to be worked on, and that whatever illness, heart arrhythmia, or whatever is going on in your body. I love that idea, writing a letter. That's a great idea.
Absolutely. It's really powerful.
I think it would be. All right, so I do apologize. We have a lot more people with questions, and but we won't be able to do a whole lot more. We're already way over, and I do want to give Sunny an opportunity to do a closing meditation. She wants to add this to what she's giving to you today, and I know that it will make a difference for a lot of people and related to a lot of the questions on the webcast too. So, Sunny, why don't you close us out with your final meditation to help us to protect ourselves.
Okay, so this is an invocation of Archangel Michael, and it can be done, you can extend it out. I have a meditation CD where it's extended out 30 minutes, or it's literally a 2-minute meditation. So we're going to do this short visualization, the 2-minute one. So if you just close your eyes for a moment, taking in a nice deep breath, in through your nose and out through your mouth. And as you do this, I'd like you to imagine your feet are firmly planted on the ground, and imagine that energy is connected to the center of the earth. So your feet, roots like roots of a tree, coming down from your feet, are connecting with the center of the earth. And now I'd like you to imagine a beautiful golden white light shining down from the heavens, coming into your crown and connecting with your physical body. And visualize that earth energy, that Mother Earth energy coming up from your feet, moving up into your heart, and visualize that golden white light energy shining down from the heavens, moving right down into your heart, and allowing the both physical and spiritual energies that you are made up of, allowing those to swirl around in the heart center. And as you feel that energy of both your physical and spiritual beings meeting in the center of your body, your heart, I'd like you to take a deep breath. As we invoke the blue light of Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael is the angel of protection, guidance, strength, and courage. Visualize or imagine yourself seeing a beautiful, brilliant blue energy just in front of you. This vibrating blue energy is the energy of Archangel Michael. It is 7 feet high, 4 feet wide. And if you feel so guided, I'd like you to imagine yourself stepping into this beautiful, brilliant blue energy. As you step into the energy of Archangel Michael, it completely surrounds your entire physical and energetic bodies. Taking a deep breath, you allow that energy to move through you into all the areas of your physical body, right down into your cells. And as you breathe that energy in, and we invoke the blue light of Archangel Michael, we ask him to surround you and to protect you from any negative energy or entities, seen or unseen. In this space, you can observe the energy of others, but you stand as a witness and an observer of their energy. With one deep breath in, and so it is.
Oh, lovely. So it is. That's beautiful. I love that. Blue light stepping in was just lovely.
Yeah.
Enjoyed that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Allow that to be, big, long, short, but the point is consistency.
No, it's beautiful. All right. Well, this has been an incredible interview, an hour and plus. We were in over a bit, but that's what happens when we work with the angels. So I just want to definitely, on behalf of Lori, who, like I said, would have loved to have been here, and myself, I wanted just to express a heartfelt thank you to you, Sunny, because you just incredible content and such a generous soul to share so much with everyone with us today on the Angel and Energy Telesummit Tour. And, of course, we do want to thank all of the angels, and particularly Archangel Raphael. And Michael is on my mind now. He's with me for sure. So he's here. And for working with us on every step of the way and being a divine inspiration not only today but to bring this whole Telesummit together. And so make sure that you join us tomorrow for our for Day 4, which is Sage Taylor Kinsley Goddard, and she is also, everyone has a unique perspective here, but she's a Prosperous Goddess program that she has is just amazing, and she's going to talk about prosperously and passionately fulfilling our purpose with the help of the angels. So she's going to be looking at really building abundance and developing six-figure incomes and really working with money to align with your purpose and who you truly are. So don't miss tomorrow. And also just wanting to thank again for everyone who's on the line and who's listening to this, for being here with us. And goodbye to you all, and angel blessings, and thank you again for joining us. So it is.